Week 18 is here. Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers. Tomorrow, we got division titles, we got playoff hopes and dreams, we've got incentives. Hello, FanDuel Sportsbook as well. And, we got it right away. I'm not moving the FanDuel helmet. Hold on. We love FanDuel. They're our partners. But you got to be kidding me. We got to get this thing up here. We got to get our juju. Let me put that right front and center. Scamper on over here. Can you see it? Can you see it? We'll get into all of this. And we have three-time Super Bowl champion Devin McCourty here to preview that incredible Sunday Night Football showdown. I hear that whole crew's going to be feet down in Detroit at Ford Field, dapping up Calvin Johnson. I love that. We've got Vikings and Lions. And do you want to know who's winning this weekend? Well, we have senior AP NFL writer and master of Moneyline picks, Rob Maaddi, stopping by as well. And I'm going to give love to some, those votes are coming in for these different all-pros and things. I'm gonna put some things out into the ether here in a minute. Better placement. Just rearranging some things. You want this one moved where? Oh, okay, you want more FanDuel. Who knew? We love FanDuel here in the studio. And where should this one go, Kat? Right here? No, it can't be hidden. Sorry, shoes. We're going to put you right here. That, I think, is better. That's the kind of juju we need going into this bout, okay? One sleep away from Week 18, officially kicking off with 4 AFC North teams. It is all about the AFC North. Let's take a look at the slate. The Ravens now up to 19.5-point faves in the early game after it was announced yesterday afternoon that Bailey Zappi, don't worry, be Zappy. He's getting the start for Cleveland. That is the biggest point spread in the NFL in over 4 years. And biggest point spread, what? Hamilton, what? Ever in the past 4 years?
It's true. In the last 4 years, the last one, it was a Chiefs game. I'm trying to remember who they were playing, but yeah, it was 2020 was the last time we saw a point spread this big.
19.5 is wild. A win, of course, locks up a second straight division title for Baltimore, and the Bengals are still favored by 1.5 over Pittsburgh. It'll be very interessante to see how the Steelers approach that one if Baltimore wins the early game and they don't have a ton to play for. And then looking ahead on Sunday, Lions, looky, 2.5-point faves over the Vikings. I say this every week, the biggest NFL game of the regular season, but you can't tell me this isn't that.
It's one of the biggest NFL games of all time. First time we've seen 2 14-win teams square off in a regular season game. So this is super exciting. Mike
North, Charlotte, we see ya. We love ya. We appreciate you for all the work that you do. Hammy, we are here. I'm not messing around. I'm nervous about this.
Fine.
I said a lot of nice Broncos-y things yesterday. Devin McCourty will be here today to talk about some other things. We've got Rob Maaddi making picks. You can go, Hamilton. They took you away, Derek. Take him away. Give him that old virtual shepherd's hook in the sky. As for Saturday, guys, it seems to be a foregone conclusion. The Ravens are just going to jog away with the game and the AFC North, but it does have huge implications or ripple effects for the record books, for the MVP race. The incomparable Sarah Ellison of The Vault on her podcast, she pointed out on Monday, Lamar has a chance to break Aaron Rodgers' single-season passer rating record with another big performance against the Browns. Well, here's what he had to say this week when he was asked. I'm talking about Lamar here. He was asked if breaking that record has any meaning to him.
If I'm in my childhood mindset and breaking the record, yeah. But I'm trying to win the games, so it really don't matter. If it happens, it happens. If it don't, it probably will happen sometime down the line.
Answer. I love the smile. And beyond the record itself, whether he breaks it this year or not, just being in the neighborhood does mean a lot for his MVP case. Take a look at this. With the 39 touchdown passes to just 4 picks, 4 interceptions. So insane. He's in legendary rare air right now. The other 5 players on this list all won MVP during these seasons. None of them were closing in on 1,000 yards rushing, my friends. None of them. Nunca. Never. Of course, none of this exists in a vacuum, and none of them were up against a Josh Allen. Year of the Allen. He's having his year. Or a Joe Burrow, who's playing the best football maybe we've ever seen at a given time, at least right now. But this does play into Lamar's favor, okay? If he goes and takes the record away from Aaron Rodgers tomorrow. He will have a shot up against the Browns defense that's missing Denzel Ward. We got Myles Garrett late in the season dealing with a bit of a thigh thing going on. That's going to help bolster his case. A three-man race for MVP. And then throw Saquon in there. Hamilton, Saquon's going to get some votes, I think. He's got to get some votes. What would be impressive? How many voters are there? 50?
Yeah.
How many voters are there?
There are 50 voters, and each gets to vote 5. You know, you rank them 1 through 5. So Saquon's definitely going to be in those top 5, I think, for a lot of people, for most people. It's going to be interesting to see how many of those first place votes that he gets. It is really hard when you look at Lamar's case right now, when you show that full screen with, you know, he's in this statistical class right now with, you know, it's almost an automatic MVP when you put up the type of numbers that he's putting up. But again, as you said, Josh Allen having the season he's having, it makes it tough. But I don't know. You look at those numbers from Lamar, it makes it really hard to argue against him.
I heard some of what you said. But I've got things to talk about. I'm hopped up on Excedrin Hamilton in a way that I haven't been since 2018. We are here to talk about Bengals Steelers, okay? Mike Tomlin was asked at his press conference. Oh, they can't hear. You can't hear me? It's a bad sign.
A little muffled.
That's not good. Tomlin was asked at his press conference if he'd sit his starters if the Ravens lock up the AFC North in that early game. We were all over to start the week. I was in parts unknown talking to Sarah Ellison and the Ravens fan base view on this. But here's what Tomlin had to say.
I haven't pondered that at all, to be quite honest with you. That might be a thought for later in the week. But as I mentioned, I think it's significant how we go into this tournament, and so I doubt that I'll be in that mentality that you mentioned.
Now, he sounds like he's leaving the door open just to let the doors ajar, my friends. I don't think the Bengals are catching any breaks on that front. The Steelers are going to go for it. It probably is the right move for Tomlin, given what's going on with his team right now. I do think momentum is a thing they got to get on the right pace, because their whole season will be judged on what they do wild card weekend. You don't want to free fall into the playoffs, and there's things that can still gain if the Ravens do take care of business against the Browns. So here's the deal. If the Steelers win, that means a matchup with the Texans, who are dealing with similar ups and downs, lack of consistency and momentum here down the stretch, while a loss could send them back into Baltimore, and they don't want that on wild card weekend. If they're going to have a chance against anyone, they need to get the offense going. They were a top 10 offense across the board over Russell Wilson's first 7 starts, as we all remember. Over this 3-game slide, I guess I'll call it, they're averaging almost 100 fewer yards per game. 15 fewer points is crazy. That's crazy, and all of that's affected the defense too. They've been stuck on the field longer. They're giving up the most points they have in a 3-game stretch right now with these 3 losses. Not good, not the way you want to go in. We know the offense can get it done, and maybe this mini bye after Christmas gave them the reset they needed. It kind of feels like they need this win over the Bengals to have the playoff run. I do believe in momentum. I do believe it's a thing, and I don't think Tomlin's wouldn't be excited about them winning. So heading into Baltimore on a 4-game losing streak, that's very different than going into Houston after knocking out the Bengals. See the difference there in those feelings? I do too. We're gonna take a short break here. Devin McCourty joining us. I might just leave the helmet here the whole freaking show. It's gonna be right here. It's not quite a helmet. It doesn't quite fit on the old head. What's the story there? What is that? What is that? Hamilton, how come I can't put this helmet on my head?
It doesn't have all the pads inside?
What?
It doesn't have all the pads inside?
No, it's got some
yeah.
What is this? Is it
Yeah, they didn't.
removable?
It's just the shell. They didn't put the yeah.
Honestly, I can't even think about putting them. No, thank you. I can't even.
I mean, they've been winning since it's been on that bot.
Darude's like, what do you need? What do you need? No, nothing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm good.
They've been winning since it's been on that bottom shelf, though. I don't know. I don't know if you should have touched it.
Don't do that. Oh, it's going right back to where it came from. Why would you say such a dumb thing?
I'm trying to help you.
Listen, you know what else is down here? I've got this, a lacrosse helmet, some Woodford Reserve.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Why do I have Woodford Reserve down here?
Yeah, we never really get to see down there.
And I have A Chargers helmet. I have a Chargers and Bengals helmet here, dwelling in the basement.
There you go.
Of Hoarder Central over here.
And the Eberflus Honeyes is still there.
Well, that didn't age well. That didn't
I'm sure
age
the
well.
honey's fantastic.
I gotta tell you, I don't like the coaching stuff at the end of the regular season. I don't like the questions. I don't like the. Ugh. I don't like it, and I don't quite know what's going on. I've been texting a couple people. Devin will know better than myself.
Yeah, Vrabel has his interview with the Jets. It'd be interesting to see what they do. They talked to Ron Rivera the other day.
Mm-hmm. And Riddick got a thing too. I like to deal with this after the regular. Like,
yeah.
Don't.
I know.
We got such good shit going on tomorrow and to bother me later.
They really should look at changing that because the coordinators that go deep into the playoffs are going to.
Because then it becomes, is he focused? Is it this, and like, don't make it a thing then. Don't give it air to be that way. Make a rule. There are
I agree.
rules.
Let's wait till February. Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe it's like a Pro Bowl-y thing, like Pro Bowl weekend. You can F around and find out with your new space, but like they were getting into Cliff yesterday. I saw that.
Yeah.
Whoever was asking those questions was on it. I mean, I'm getting nebulous answers about Mayo, which I don't like. I didn't think his seat was that hot.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it this year was going to be going in.
Yeah, but so did everybody. So are we? Everyone's full of it right now. But I guess that depends on what. You're only as safe as your options.
Yeah.
So who would they? Vrabel?
Devin McCourty. You're looking at the winner.
Heck of a play there.
Intercepted
by Devin McCourty.
When I wake up and look in the mirror, I'm looking at a winner and looking at the champ.
On the field, we can see his handsome face every Sunday on Football Night in America, three-time Super Bowl champion and analyst for the biggest show in sports. Devin, how are you? Happy New Year, my friend.
Happy New Year. I'm blaming Izzy for the picture of Jason being on there. I know you wouldn't do that, Kay, so I'm blaming Richard. Yeah, he just was talking to me.
How come, do people get you two mixed up? I think you look nothing alike. The second I saw the photo, I said, that's Jason. How come I can tell you apart so easily? Is it difficult?
It's weird. Like, some people look at us and they're like, you're not identical. And then other people are like, how do you tell the difference? So I don't know. I don't think we look alike.
You look nothing alike. You look like brothers, but I wouldn't even say that. Well, I don't know. I can always tell the two of you apart.
It's the ball head.
No, I don't know about that. But you did beat his ass in fantasy football, I heard. Let's talk about that. Tell me about that.
I dominate him. Hammer wasn't helping him out enough when he was working with him. So I had to show him what it is.
Did Matthew Berry help you? Did he help you cheat? Be honest. You had Matthew Berry.
I might have asked Berry a question or two, but for the most part, it was all me being a great general manager.
Who won it for you?
I won it. I mean, Bucky Irvin was a huge...
Bucky Irving! Hamilton!
Yeah, Bucky. And shout out Josh Allen.
Bucky Irving is a guy I tried putting on the map, and Hamilton said he wasn't very good. And I said, Hamilton's going to
Hamilton not repping New Rochelle football.
I'm kind of lying.
Come on.
Hamilton, are you around? Hamilton took the thing off.
I am here, and he was on our waiver wireless week 2. Back when you were like, oh, it's too early.
No.
Rashad White's still a thing.
We were having Levante David on the show, and I'm a call at 4 a.m. when I never speak. I'm like, I feel like you should ask about Bucky Irving, and then he went off that week. So I'm the genius. Congrats on everything, Devin. It was so good to work with you on Christmas. You and Jason were absolutely hilarious. Sunday Night Football. It started the season with the Lions, and you've got them again. I hear you guys are traveling to Detroit, this huge matchup against the Vikings. This, as me and Hamilton were talking about to start the show, this isn't just like the biggest game of the season. This might be the most significant regular season game in actual NFL history. What are you most looking forward to?
I mean, just the energy. You know, we got to be there last year during the playoffs, and that felt like, man, this couldn't get any better. And you look at these two teams, I think similar kind of situations of, you know, you got a new head coach, you're figuring things out, and, you know, maybe not perfect in year one, but you stick it out. And, you know, I'm looking forward to just the chess match. Ben Johnson, Brian Flores, to see that battle go back and forth should be a lot of fun from the offense and defensive perspective.
Winner gets the bye, loser goes on the road for the wild card. You've had some success against Sam Darnold in your day, Dev.
I like Sam Darnold, not for that reason. So I love his story, and I still remember.
I
What was it,
remember
maybe
this.
2
I remember
years ago?
this.
Yeah, that's the old Sam Darnold. That's
Okay.
gone. Sam Darnold don't see ghosts anymore.
This is 2019, week 7. I mean, you're 4-0 against him in your career. You're saying that's not him anymore. What does that mean? Who's this guy going into this battle? Because let's say what we want to say. He's not that guy, but these Lions DBs, if he gives them an opportunity, they're going to cash in.
Oh, no doubt about it. He led by Kirby Joseph. But I think the thing that sticks out is anytime you talk to the evaluators, like I'm lucky enough, I sit with Jason Garrett every Sunday, who, was coaching the Cowboys, former quarterback. And he talks about the guy that was coming out of USC, the way he saw the field, the way the ball flicked off his fingertips. Like, that's the guy we're getting to see now. He's playing confident. He knows where he wants to go. And that is what we see. I think a lot of times we forget these guys who come out of college, like, you're a person. You go in these situations where it's not ideal for you, you get broken down, and especially playing in the New York media and having to deal with that. I think he's aged a little bit. He's gotten some experience. And in the last 2 years playing with Kyle Shanahan and now with Kevin O'Connell, he just looks like he knows exactly what he wants to do on the football field. No indecision. The ball's gone. It's out of his hands. And then obviously he has some pretty good weapons in Minnesota.
One of my producers brought this up in the morning meeting. She said, what about experience? And I said, yeah, what about experience? Because this is a playoff game. We're talking about it being the most pivotal, most important game in the regular season, maybe ever. And if you look at Darnold, he doesn't have it. I don't know if he's bad at it. We don't know. The only playoff experience he has was as a backup on the Niners last year, watching things go down. How will that impact this game at all, him not having experience?
I'll reminisce and go back to many of meetings we would have when we had the playoff bye week and Coach Belichick would come in there and he'd go, I mean, don't fucking tell me about experience. There's plenty of rookies who get into playoffs. It's about who's playing good football. And that, to me, for Sam Darnold, like, you don't gain experience until you get to go do it. And I think that's the reason Minnesota hasn't been talked about in this kind of upper tier in the NFL, because everyone's been waiting for Sam Darnold to just kind of fail and fall, and he hasn't. He's risen to the occasion each and every time. So I think for Minnesota, you should have complete confidence that the guy's going to go be the guy that he's been all year. And, for me, I agree with that. Experience is what it is. Some guys will have it, and we watch experienced players go into playoffs and not play good football, and we watch young guys go and do it. So it's all about how you're playing, how you're going to go out there and do it and execute, not if you've played in 100 playoff games or two playoff games. That doesn't matter the day of the game when you got to go do it.
Dev, 3-time Super Bowl champ, all-pro, all-pro, all-pro. Look, you're saying we overrate experience?
No doubt. I mean, listen, can experience help you? Yes. But you have to go play. Like that rookie that's going to go in there and play. Detroit last year, first time in 30 years hosting a home playoff game. They take care of the Rams and they take care of Tampa Bay. Like, that's not supposed to happen. They hadn't been there. And that, like, no one cares about that. Like, you're going to go play football. And I think it's all about the team that gets assembled. And that scene we saw from Minnesota with Sam Darnold last week when he came in that locker room, that guy's going to go out there Sunday night, play confident. And the biggest thing I've been talking about is the loser in this game Sunday night is going to need to pick themselves up and go play and win a wild card game, because both these teams are excellent. They've been fantastic all year. They're going to have to get over this tough loss because this is the most hyped game and probably, like you said, regular season history. So that, to me, is going to be the toughest challenge moving forward into the playoffs.
You'll be at Ford Field on Sunday night with Football Night in America. Excited for you to feel that energy and then make your pick. I won't ask you that now. Everybody will have to watch on NBC. Is there a matchup outside of Sam Darnold versus the DB? Is there a matchup here that you're really focused on going into this one?
I think one of the biggest things, it's going to be Minnesota's pass rush, Detroit's offensive line, and vice versa. I think Detroit, with all of the injuries, you watched the game last week at San Fran, they kind of struggled to get to the quarterback. Kirby Joseph got the big interceptions that turned the game around. But I look at the up front, O-line, D-line on both sides, how that plays out. If you can get pressure without having a blitz, if Aaron Glenn doesn't have to draw up some crazy blitzes or Brian Flores on the other end, and they can get home, I think that could be a difference to try to rattle these quarterbacks who have been just eating up defenses and playing good football.
Huge stakes for both teams. In 2019, You had the first round bye on the line in Week 17. It was against Brian Flores and the Dolphins. You end up losing that game and then knocked out of the playoffs by the Titans in the wild card. How big is this game just for the team's mentality heading into the postseason?
Big for mentality and big for matchups. Like, I think back to that 2019, losing that game set us up for a wild card game against the Tennessee Titans, and their style with Derrick Henry and running the ball, it didn't fit us. We were better fit for teams like a Kansas City, who was a better team than Tennessee, but they were passing. They had Mahomes. We had DBs that we felt could match up. And I think that's big in this game of, hey, you're going to match up with somebody that if you win, you're going to get the bye week and feel good about it. And if you lose, you're going to go on the road and have to play. But I think in this case, I still would pick these teams in the wild card no matter who they play because of how they've played this year. I think both of their styles travel. They can run the football. They can play good defense at certain times. Like, they can get turnovers and get stops. Like, I think they can travel and win. But I understand, like you said, the mental part of trying to get over. I remember when we lost that game, my brother gave a speech in the locker room talking about how many times he didn't make the playoffs and the opportunities we was going to have. It didn't work. We still went out there and lost the next week, but that's the battle of trying to go into that next week after losing such a huge game.
You're letting Jason make those speeches? What?
Well, we needed a former loser to come in and try to pick us up because we were used to winning those games, getting a bye week, so he had better perspective.
Wow. Those are like Tom Brady's last moments. I feel like as a Patriot, those were
It was sad, right?
And you knew they were coming. That must have been insane.
It was. Again, we tried everything, the hard practice, doing all that, but it was like you couldn't get over the opportunity you had the week before to be on the bye week, to do all those things. Like, it just sat in your mind as much as we tried. It was just too difficult for us.
The loser, by the way, likely has to go to Tampa, possibly LA, against the Rams. So huge stakes for this one. Hamilton just texted me, and you had to listen to Logan Ryan talk about that pick six constantly. True.
What do you mean? I mean, he's still talking about the pick six. It's probably hanging behind him in every Zoom
whenever
he
he
does.
comes on, he says, I need that to be in my intro. Like, that needs to be written in there. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so you're saying experience doesn't matter, Deb. Momentum has to matter then, right? Like, the Steelers, losers of 3 straight. You were at the Christmas Day game. You were in Pittsburgh against the Chiefs. George Pickens back in the lineup. Couldn't happen. Yesterday, Pickens was asked about a miscommunication between he and his quarterback that led to a pick. Take a listen to this.
It seemed like you and Russ weren't on the same page on that interception against the Chiefs. How does that happen, and what do you guys do to address it?
You said me and Russ wasn't on the same page?
Yeah, well, that's what he said.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
Or is that what you said?
That's what he said. How do you just address that?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
What do I need to know? What?
What's going on in Pittsburgh? The defense has been talking about they need all 11 guys, not 10 guys at one. George Pickens going off probably what his mama or grandma taught him. If you don't have something nice to say, don't say anything. So he aborted mission. Again, what you just said, Kay, you should be putting your name in for some of these head coaching opportunities too, because it's momentum. It's how you're playing. And for Pittsburgh, everyone's talking about the must win for Cincinnati to get into the playoffs. To me, this is turning into a must win for Pittsburgh to not go and get smoked in the first round of the playoffs and be right back at home, because when you're not playing your best ball and you go into the playoffs, you're just waiting for somebody to knock you off. I mean, that's what ends up happening. And I think we just talked about 2019, us losing to Miami was a result of us not playing our best ball. We go play Tennessee. We're at home. We had all the experience, all of those things. They come in and they beat us. And I think for Pittsburgh, they got to find something to steer them back in the right direction. They have the ultimate head coach and leader and Mike Tomlin to try to get this going. But a lot of this turns into, how do you start the game? Who makes a big play to get you going, to get that kind of good feeling back about your whole team? And that's what I'll be looking for in this Cincinnati game. What happens early in the game? Offense, defense, who makes a play to kind of get them going?
What did you see out there when you were there? I know you dapped up everybody. I'm sure you talked. The Steelers have lost these 3 games by 14 plus, okay? The whole thing was, George isn't there. George is the most valuable player. He's not there. They can't do the go ball. They can't. That's clearly not it, especially after hearing all of that. What has gone wrong for Pittsburgh? How did they get off track?
I mean, listen, you play the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Kansas City Chiefs. A little bit of this is kind of who Pittsburgh is. Like, Pittsburgh's a good football team. Are they up there with the top teams in the NFL and even in the AFC? Probably not. They're a step or two behind. Does that mean they can't beat them? No. But it means they have to execute their game plan perfectly. They have to be honest. So when you play the Baltimore Ravens, Russ fumbles down by the 2 or 3 yard line, throws this pick six to Marlon Humphrey. That's the difference in the game. The pitch from Russell Wilson to Najee Harris in the Philadelphia game, that's the difference in the game. Even with TJ Watt causing a forced fumble on Jalen Hurts, all those things, like, they have to play kind of perfect when they play against those top teams, execute their game plan. And when they don't do that, they just don't have enough firepower on offense. And I don't think they're as stout as we thought on defense to really shut down some of these top teams, even though they've done it in spurts and in some games, like playing Baltimore the first time. I just don't think they have that ability week in and week out to do it. Now, can they put together a good game plan in the playoffs to go win a game? Yeah, Mike Tomlin's done that plenty of times in his career, but I think it starts with a playoff mindset against Cincinnati Sunday to get them going into the playoffs.
You're making me think the Bengals are winning this game easy. I mean, they have so many stars on defense. It's hard to hear they don't have the defense we thought that they'd have. Like, they've got. He went and snaked Patrick Queen. He went and he's got all the marble rings. Like, he's a I don't understand how they aren't performing consistently, but maybe it starts must-win game territory. Sometimes I feel like, Devin, we do this song and dance, and you get in your tie and you go on Sunday night, and I'm here every day, like, trying to make news out of things, but it's like, it's freaking performative because it's just the Chiefs, right? Like, why do we get up in the morning, right? Let's take a look at the AFC side. They get the bye, of course. You were there for it on Christmas on Netflix. You got the 2 MVP frontrunners, sure. You got Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, sure. You got Burrow maybe squeezing in there. These are the 2 and 3 seeds. I think it's performative, and then I see you, Dev, and I'm like, you, my friend, were on one of the few teams that knocked Patrick Mahomes out of the playoffs. Who has the best chance of making it interesting and stopping a three-peat?
I like Buffalo. I think Buffalo style compared and matched up with Kansas City, I think they have a chance to go and win and beat Kansas City even in Arrowhead. I think Buffalo defensively struggles with the power teams, the teams that have big offensive linemen, the teams that want to run the ball and be that as their primary. I think they can get away a little bit of teams that want to pass the ball and do different things, not as physical of a dominating team. And I think that plays into Buffalo's part against Kansas City. Different if Buffalo has to play against, like, the Baltimore teams and teams like that. And I think the X factor is Josh Allen, the way he's been playing. You turn on the film and you watch, like, Detroit's defense has been a huge subject. You rewatch that game. Their defense was in decent shape a lot. It was a lot of just Josh Allen doing things that only Josh Allen can do, being the difference in that game. And I think he can do that against Kansas City, especially because now Buffalo they're not counting on him to be Superman 55 out of the 65 plays. They just need maybe 15 of them to be the difference in the game. The other guys can step up and make plays. Shakir, Coop, like Coleman, all of these guys, James Cook, they can make some plays on their own that balance out this team a little bit more when it was just, all right, Josh Allen has to do it, or he has to throw a perfect pass to Diggs, or throw it, like that kind of element, that a part of his game is kind of gone. He just needs to be elite, superhuman, only about 15 to 20 times a game.
You get to tap in for one game. You just get to unretire, hang up the suit, the Gucci, the whatever you're wearing these days, Prada. You get to suit up to take on one of these quarterbacks. Do you want Lamar or do you want Josh Allen? Who has you more excited to get out there in 10 degrees and see what you can do?
I want to play Lamar because I've never intercepted him. I've intercepted Josh Allen, so it would be Lamar. Both scary, and again, remember, this is only for one play, so it would be one play.
I was going to say a whole game, but that shows me how retired you are, that you just want one play. You don't want 4 quarters?
One play in the red zone, or we could do a red zone series, ball on the 20-yard line, not much running. I won't pull a muscle or anything. I'll be able to communicate. I'll get us on the right page, and we can draw something up that helps me make a play.
He has 4 all year. He's not coughing one up to you, Dev. Not. Not now.
You never know.
Yeah.
He might not know who I am out there.
The Patriots. Maybe they'll think it's Jason. Maybe that's what Getty Images will spit out. The Patriots have the Bills on Sunday, okay? You're high on the Bills, I can tell. New England, they've got the #1 overall pick in the draft. Rob Mayo said that they're 100% focused on beating the Bills. Let's take a listen to what your friend Gronk said to me this week.
Oh, no.
They're in a tough situation because it's so meaningless to win this game, and it's so meaningful to lose the game. And you don't want to go out there and say you're losing a game on purpose. Like, that's not cool at all. Like, it's not cool as a player to go out there and have that mentality. It's not cool as a coach to have that mentality. But like, hopefully they play as hard as they can, and they lose and they get the first pick.
It's hard to agree with Gronk, but do you kind of agree with Gronk? I know it goes against a lot of rules in your head, but what do you think of that?
I love how Gronk said, hopefully they play as hard as they can and they lose. Now, you got to find a way to lose, right? Like, hey, no disrespect, but Cleveland is finding a way to tank right now. Like, they're not putting the best thing out there to go win. And I think Drake May starts. Yeah, he's going to finish. No, Drake May, you start, then we're going to get you out of there. We're gonna let Joe Milton get in there, get some reps, see what he can do. Let's see what he can do and make this a little bit into a preseason game. We'll have Joe Milton versus Mitchell Trubisky for all of the marbles. Get the first overall pick, trade back, get more picks, do what you got to do. But for the coaching staff, it's different. You got to go coach to win. Like, ownership is worried about the first overall pick.
Yes.
As a coaching staff, unless ownership comes downstairs and says, hey, you guys are going to be here next year, don't worry about it, it's still scary. I think coaches nowadays, because of the turnover is so fast in this league, like, we're talking about Antonio Pierce and Gerard Mayo, will they be back? It's been 1 year. You got to always focus on winning because you don't know if you're going to be able to take advantage of the first overall pick or if somebody else is going to be there to do it.
What do you make of that? I'm looking online, and I was sort of surprised they brought it up to me in the meeting. Like, let's ask Dev about Mayo, and I'm like, I think Mayo's safe. Like, I think that they knew it was going to be longer than a year, but then I look on Twitter, and he's on the hot seat. What do you make of Rod Mayo being on the hot seat in New England?
It's crazy. I got to go up to the game Saturday, and like, it was Fire Mayo chants in the crowd, and it's crazy to think about. I'm with you. I think he'll be back next year, but I would say overall in this league, you can never just say something's definite until like someone comes out and says this person will be back. Like last year when Jerry Jones came out and said Mike McCarthy's going to be our head coach next year, like we haven't heard that. So, you know, just from talking to those guys, I do feel like they feel they're coaching to make sure that they're back. I don't think there's this feeling of, hey, we're safe, we're good. I think there is a little bit of a sense of urgency and an edge from everybody there because a lot of those guys, you know, they were players. They were in New England. They understand how things work and how you have to have a sense of urgency and there's a standard to be met. So they're definitely coaching their butts off and trying to stick around. But I think it would be ridiculous to think over the last few years, this team has not been very good. I was a part of some of those teams that we were a little bit competitive. Yeah, we might have won 3 or 4 more games in this team, but overall, we weren't contenders. Like, we didn't have it. We beat the bad teams. We lost all the good teams. And I think, obviously, last year was the bottom of the barrel. And to think that this year was just going to instantly rise, I think is a stretch. So I would think and hope he's back to get an opportunity to turn this around and not do it in a few months and think everything's going to be perfect.
Perfectly said by Devin McCourty. I'm so glad that you said that. I was surprised to see that, and I hope that's not the case. But patience, we'll see how much patience everyone has, and then it's, of course, all about the other candidates. The Jets are interviewing Vrabel. Yep. If there's, other, big, sexy name coaches are getting gigs, that's certainly going to influence what the Patriots do or do not do. Aaron Rodgers spoke about his future ahead of the Jets' regular season finale against the Dolphins on Sunday. Let's listen to this together.
Yeah, this game has given me a lot. I've given a lot back to it, and I'm thankful for it. I'm not thinking, I won't be thinking about that come game day. I'll just be enjoying this. I'm trying to stay in the moment, but of course, it's been a long career. I'm really proud of what I've been able to be a part of, what I've been able to accomplish, and also looking forward to a nice mental and physical rest.
I saw you in August. We were like dancing, having a great time. It was like smiles, handshakes, Coca-Colas. The Jets, they're back. He's out there. He's happy. Him and Garrett Wilson, like they love each other. They don't love each other. And now here we are. I can't believe it. What is your read? As you are close to that team, what is your read on Aaron Rodgers? Is this his last game?
As a Jet, I think so. Will it be his last game playing football? I think ultimately that's up to him. I think there's some teams that I don't think it's going to play out for them to be at the top of the draft to go get one of these quarterbacks, and they might want to have a quarterback. I think of like Tennessee possibly, of like maybe he wants to go down, spend a year in Nashville, enjoy it, go play there. I think ultimately that'll be up to him. I would say overall his play doesn't suggest that like he'll be better next year, but I think like ultimately he's Aaron Rodgers. If you have a shot to bring him in and see what he can do, I think there's teams that do it, but I just think—
What teams, Dev? What teams could possibly bring him in? What do you think?
I think Tennessee, and I just did this other day, I think Tennessee is one of those teams that when you look up, like, where do you get your top guy from? Do you go and you try to get in the top 3 or 4 in the draft? Like, where does your quarterback come? Or do you say, hey, we're going and we're doing this again with Will Levis? Remember, Brian Callahan got there with Will Levis already being there. There's not a shoe-in that, like, he wants to do that. I think Sam Darnold goes back to Minnesota. So you're looking at, like, Jameis Winston. Like, what are—
How about the Raiders?
I think, yeah, even the Raiders, a team that if you can't
the
move
Bizarro
up,
or Devontae Adams, that shit would be crazy.
right?
No
And
way.
he tries to get back there. But like, I think everything that's happened in New York, the rumors of Garrett Wilson not wanting to be there for Aaron Rodgers, whether that's true or not, who knows? But you know, in this market, when that comes out, that's a lot. DJ Reed, after this, like, he already said, I'm going to see what free agency. Like, no one wants to be there. You have to kind of change that narrative right now.
Is there a coach that you're like slam dunk should be that coach? Because I'm thinking of everything you're saying. The Raiders, by the way, they're like winning themselves out of a top draft pick. So they might end up wanting Aaron Rodgers. That would be wild and interesting. Is there a coach that you're like, you're the man? You could go in here and do this heavy lifting, this facelift that they need.
I mean, I think, like, you saw that Vrabel's in there. Vrabel, I think, is a good, but like, the thing right now is the Jets—
Vrabel got fired from the Titans is going to go fix the Jets.
Well, Vrabel seems like got fired because he rubbed people the wrong way, because he has a way he wants to do things, kind of like the Bill Belichick mentality of, hey, are you going to let me come in and do what we need to do? Because Vrabel's also the guy who was in the AFC Championship and lost to Patrick Mahomes. So, like, there's still good elements in what he was able to do. But, like, right now, as a coach— What is there to make you feel like, hey, we're set up for success? Are they hiring the GM first or the head coach first? Who's actually running things there? It's like Woody Johnson's grandkids' names are coming up. And like, that to me is this an attractive job for a head coach once they're able to go on a couple different interviews, or are the Jets going to just end up with the guy or 2 guys left that nobody else decides to hire? That to me is going to be the biggest question as this kind of wraps up the season and this goes into the offseason of who are going to be the candidates that actually want to go coach the New York Jets.
Woody calls you. Are you answering the phone? You taking that meeting? You taking that if he wants you to be the coach?
Me?
Yeah,
Heck
you.
no. My wife would kill me. You met my
Doc,
wife
I
before.
love
Go
Doc.
be a head coach. She's going to come up. I'll be in the office, and they're going to be like, oh, this is my—
You know
I'm
what's
the
so
wife.
funny? I was thinking about, Doc, when you said that you were just up in New England at the game on Saturday. I'm like, what are you doing going to all these games,
She
Dev?
went. She went.
Get
She
your
went. She
butt-
made
oh,
me
she
late
went?
for the game.
Good.
She made me late for the game, as you would
She's
expect.
the best. No, she's the absolute best. Okay, it's all pro season. You know something, you know a lot about that, okay? There's voting going on. People are being swayed. There's all this propaganda out on Twitter. Is there someone that you would like to give some love to on this program? Any position, any team, any side of the ball that you think needs the all-pro love in 2024, 2025?
Kirby Joseph is not a Pro Bowler.
Crazy.
What are we doing?
Crazy.
Like last
9.
year, Antoine Winfield Jr., not a Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro. This year, Kirby Joseph, not a Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro. Like, what we gotta figure this out. We gotta get it right. Guy's 9 interceptions, and it's not like he has interceptions where it's just overthrows.
No.
Like you watch the San Francisco game, he starts to recognize the formation and he creeps up, and then the third time they throw this ball over the middle, he intercepts a game-changing play. And this was right after he makes a diving interception, but it didn't count because of a holding penalty on defense. Like, what are we doing?
What's the most you had in a year?
Interceptions?
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, 9 is the most in 15 years. 9 is the most
like—
by a safety in 15 years.
Like, I don't understand what we're doing. Like, first
I
team
don't
All-Pro.
And
he's a playmaker.
He's a great personality, too. He, trolls Matthew Stafford. He's got the juice. He's on a star team. I don't quite know, but that's a good nod for you for All-Pro. I will quickly submit this. Offensive line, nobody ever talks about. Lane Johnson, I think, deserves to be All-Pro. I worked this up this morning with Hamilton. The guy hasn't allowed a sack all year, not one. He's given up 10 total pressures, fewest in the league per PFF. He has helped, all this love for Saquon for MVP. I get it. Saquon's incredible, but he's paved the way for this 2,000-yard season. It's kind of criminal. He's only been picked as a first-team All-Pro twice in his Hall of Fame career. We want him to get I want him to get a gold jacket. This is my campaign for Lane Johnson. And by the way, the Eagles have scored 29.4 points per game with him in the lineup, and nearly half of that, just 15.5 in 2 games that he's missed, okay? He's MVP level, All-Pro level. The offensive line is elite. Without Jason Kelce there, he's still doing his thing. Had to give him some love. We're going to take a TV break. Dev, I'm holding you through the breaks. I have some fun questions I want to ask you. You are unbelievable, and we will take a short break, but don't you go anywhere, Dev. Don't you go anywhere.
Sounds good.
We've got Rob Maaddi on the show, by the way. Speaking of voting and picks and all of that, Maaddi's going to do his thing. Got to get some love for Lane Johnson out there. I don't know how much longer we'll have him. All you old heads keep leaving me. Makes me sad. Okay, I have a question. I have a couple questions for you. What did you want to do? I wanted to do the fun stuff we had at the end. Oh, yes. We're going to play a little game called Devin on Earth. I don't know why, but we're going to just get your thoughts on some random things. What is your take on New Year's resolutions? Do you make them? Do you keep them?
No, I don't make New Year's resolutions. That's a waste of time. Why do you need to do something because it's a new year? You should have already done that. What are we talking about?
You're staying resolving. I love that. Squid Game Season 2 just came out. Who would survive Squid Games, you or Jason? Who'd win?
I would win.
Why?
I'm a natural winner compared to him. So I would think of how you win, what you need to do. He would be sitting there hoping his wife saved him.
Oh, my goodness. Anybody on any of your Super Bowl teams, who would be the first one out in Squid Game? Who is not surviving whatever the first challenge is?
It would be a defensive lineman, probably. I think they're not the brightest bunch.
Name one.
Rob Ninkovich.
Poor Nink, catching strays.
I hope he sees this, too. I hope he sees this.
Oh, he will. LeBron says that he could play 5 to 7 more years at a high level, Deb. Do you think LeBron's dunking on guys at 45 years old?
No doubt. Whatever he says he can do, he can do. Him and Tom Brady, even. Whatever they say, they can do it.
What was your reaction to seeing Travis Kelce and the Happy Gilmore 2 trailer? Did you see it?
I did see that. I mean, what can't Travis Kelce do right now? Like, we're all for it. I saw him when he was doing Saturday Night Live in New York. I saw him one of his practice days. Like, the guy's versatile.
Okay, love it. Catch Football Night in America from Ford Field this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern on NBC and Peacock. You are a star. Thank you for making time for me, my friend.
Always. You're the superstar. Anytime they ask, can you go on Up and Adams? I'm like, man, she knew when I was a nobody. I'll always be there.
We would just eat cold pizza on those Tuesday nights, making fun and putting Tom Curran in a headlock with a noogie. Loved it. All right, check him out on Football Night in America. Love to your family, your beautiful family. Spend some time with them sometimes, Dev. Make some time for your family.
Nobody want to be with them kids.
We'll see you in a bit. We've got Rob Maaddi coming on the show. Bye, Dev. So funny. Nobody want to be with them kids. I love that. Bucky Irving. Read it and weep.
Bucky Irving. I don't understand. Yeah.
I just made it up, I think.
This narrative, yeah.
What it was I got a hot tip from someone that Bucky's about to, I told you this, that Bucky's about to have himself a minute. And then on that call in the morning, I said that, and then he had himself a minute. And then I just felt like it was
he did.
Because of me. And I forgot that you put him on waivers.
Seems fair. Yeah.
For week 2.
You know.
Just saying.
But now the truth is out there.
We're not talking Tampa enough, I don't think. My next guest, a senior NFL writer for the AP and a master at predicting games. You can check out the Pro Picks column every week on apnews.com. Rob Maaddi, you just heard Devin McCourty there. He's making the case for Kirby Joseph. He's making the case for everybody. Before we get to picks, there is a new favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. Most of the season, my friend, it's been TJ Watt. Patrick Surtain now has the shortest odds. I tweeted about this last night. What do you think of his case for DPOI?
Okay, before we even get to that, nobody's been snubbed for All-Pro because we don't even announce the All-Pro till next Friday. So nobody's been snubbed yet.
It's about, it's not about being snubbed. It's about the lack of hearing about these guys,
Yes,
I had to,
exactly.
Yeah, but you're right. But he didn't get Pro Bowl, that Kirby Johnson, so maybe he'll get it, Kirby Joseph. He'll get it hopefully for All-Pro. Maybe.
Not only that, as you just put up the Defensive Player of the Year odds, he's in the conversation. Kirby's in a conversation for that. Patrick Surtain's in a conversation for that. There we go. We've had edge rushers win it 6 out of the last 10 years, right? And we've had some corners win it in the past. 6 cornerbacks have won it. Stephon Gilmore in 2019, he won the Defensive Player of the Year. Dion has won it in the past. Charles Woodson. Patrick Surtain's numbers right now, he's not getting the interceptions because nobody's throwing the ball his way. He's allowed 33 catches, only 279 yards all season long, and quarterbacks have a 56 passer rating when they throw the ball his way. So he very much is in a conversation. And, everybody knows all about TJ Watt, right? He gets all those sacks. Yes. He's got 6 forced fumbles, the quarterback rate, the pressure rate. This is a tough vote. And I'm glad I don't have a vote because it's hard. And you're seeing that right now. You know what it's like to go through this. It's a difficult, not only for Defensive Player of the Year, it's difficult for a lot of these awards this year.
Yeah, it's very fun. I like everything's neck and neck, MVP up and down. It's great. You're great at making picks. You're not some eeny, meeny, miny, mo guy, my friend. Rob, your record for picks this season is insane. 181 and 75 straight up. Do the math on my TI-89 calculator. That is 71%. That is insane. So let me get all the information out of you. Let's start with Saturday games. Browns at Ravens. Baltimore's favored by, it's insane. I thought it was a glitch in the system, a glitch in the matrix. 19.5. A win gets them the North's title and a 3 seed. How does it go?
The goal was to pass Nick Sirianni, so I finally beat him in winning percentage. I'm there. He's number 5 all time. So now I have to stay there. And this is hard, Kay. This final week with some guys playing, some guys not playing, it's going to be difficult. Starting out with the Browns-Ravens, this is a game that the Ravens absolutely have to win to get the number 3 seed. The Browns are turning to Bailey Zappi. They don't want to mess up their draft positioning. The only concern for the Ravens should be Myles Garrett's going for the NFL sack lead. He's going to be a beast. He's going to be a monster. Lamar's put up incredible numbers all season, making his case for Offensive Player of the Year, making his case for MVP. I think he goes out there and has another big-time game. Ravens win and it's a big number. Ravens win and cover 30-13.
30-13. Wow, biggest point spread in the NFL since 2020. Then Saturday night, it's Bengals at Steelers. So the Bengals are favored on the road by 1.5. They need to win to stay alive in the AFC. The Steelers, Devin McCourty said, also have to win to have some momentum and not be one and done in the playoffs. How does it go down? What's the score?
I agree with Devin. They've lost 3 games in a row. They need to go into the playoffs with some sort of confidence, something feeling good about themselves. If they get the 5 seed, they're on the road against Houston in a 4-5. They can win that matchup. But if they drop to 6 and they're playing Baltimore, a team they've had success with, they have an opportunity there. So the Bengals are a team, as you know, they got to win to get in and get a lot of help elsewhere. Joe Burrow's put up tremendous numbers throughout the season. Another guy in a conversation for Offensive Player of the Year, in a conversation even for MVP. With a 5-deep ballot, he's certainly going to get some love there. Just a phenomenal season. I think the Bengals find a way to win this game because by kickoff, the Steelers, there's going to have to be a natural letdown. The Ravens win. By kickoff, Steelers look up. They realize we're not in the running for the division. We're only playing for the 5 seed or the 6 seed. I think there's just a natural letdown there. Bengals go out there, find a way to win the 5th straight game. And then it's hoping, right? Then it's sitting down and rooting for Carson Wentz and rooting for Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, sure. So you said 24-20 Bengals win. Joe Burrow also 359 yards away from 5,000 yards. I think he gets the over. I don't know what the line is over on FanDuel Sportsbook, but I'd bang the over on that. He wants that 5K and maybe an MVP. Okay, Sunday. Dolphins, I mean, they need a win, too. There's so many. This is such a freaking fun Week 18. They're 1.5-point favorites. They're on the road against these Jets. Who gets the win?
I like the Dolphins despite it doesn't look like Tua's going to play, and some news coming out today doesn't look like he's going to play with that hip injury. They're going to have to go in with Tyler Huntley. The Jets are interviewing Mike Vrabel today. They've already moved on to next season. Aaron Rodgers is going to go out there, get his 500th career touchdown passer. They're certainly going to try and help him get his 500th career touchdown pass, and then he may take a seat on the bench, and it's Tyrod Taylor. The Dolphins absolutely have to win to hold on to slim hopes. I know for your sake you want the Bengals to get in, and you need Aaron to play the whole game, and the Jets have to find a way to win that one for you. But I'm sorry, Kay, I got Dolphins 20-17.
Yeah, that would give them 3 straight playoff appearances for the first time in nearly 25 years. That would be wild if they get in. I don't even know how you saw that 2 news. It broke like 20 seconds ago. Coach McDaniel saying very unlikely that we'll see
it's in my ear.
Tua out. I don't know what kind of machine you're working with, but I love what in the AI is going on over there. Okay, so you've got fine. All right, fine. You've got Dolphins winning 20-17. We'll see about that one. The last wild card spot depends on the Broncos. It's win and in against Carson Wentz and the Chiefs, as you alluded to. The Broncos favored by 10.5 at home. Do they get it done?
Carson Wentz plays some of his best football, Kay, with some backups all around him, and he's going to have backups all around him. If I know it's 5 years ago, but you can go back to 2019 with the Eagles, 4 must-win games, and his receivers were guys named Greg Ward, Robert Davis, Deontay Burnett, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and all he did was throw for 4,000 yards, lead the Eagles to 4 wins. Only guy to do that with no 1,000-yard receiver. So he can get the job done with backups all around him. I'm building up all of this hope for you, but ultimately the Broncos need to win. They got to get into the playoffs, and I don't even know if Carson plays the whole game. They might put in their backup, their third-string guy at the end. So I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover, but the Broncos to win and get in 26-23.
We love that. It would be, I mean, their last playoff action on the Denver side was, I believe, Peyton Manning's Super Bowl, which was a very long time ago, Super Bowl 50. Over in the NFC, the Bucs need the win to lock up the South, 13.5-point faves over the Saints. Do they win the division on Sunday?
Absolutely. I was in that locker room yesterday, and not only do they want to win the game, they want to get Mike Evans his 1,000 yards so he could be 11 straight years, 1,000 yards. Only Jerry Rice has done that. He needs 85 yards. So I love the Bucs to win the game, 34-17 and cover. But take a look at Mike Evans' over totals for receiving yards. He needs 85. That's a bonus pick for you right there. They're going to go all out and try to get Mike Evans his 1,000 yards.
We get a bonus pick out of Rob Maaddi. We love it. We'll take it. Then the final regular season game of the year is the biggest game of all time in the regular season. Sunday Night Football, Vikings at Lions for the 1 seed. Lions favored by 2.5 at home. It's close. Who gets the bye? Who goes on the road for the playoffs?
Okay, I love this game from a football fan perspective, but I don't like it from betting because it could go either way. This is a very tough game. The Lions, this is the position they've been waiting for all year since losing to the 49ers. They've wanted home field advantage. They wanted that number 1 seed. It's right there. It's there for them for the taking. They may get Alex Anzalone back on defense, which would help. The Vikings have been surprising people all year long. Do they have one more surprise on the road victory left in them? Possibly. I'm taking the Lions to win and cover 30-26.
Oh, my gosh. I can't. I mean, Lions back-to-back division titles for the first time since 1954, I'm told, in my ear by my little AI person. Okay, you can follow Rob's predictions on his Pro Picks column every week on apnews.com. Rob Maaddi, thank you for joining me. Stay through the break, would you? We're still live on YouTube. We will be back. Rob, I want to ask you, when you're looking at, obviously all of the awards, you've got All Pros, all of that, from your vantage point, what are you most excited about with the MVP race, the uniqueness of it? What is sticking out to you in that entire conversation?
Yeah, it's one of the tougher ones in recent years because oftentimes when you're looking at the MVP, you can kind of tell which way it's swaying, who's going to be. Lamar Jackson had it locked up last year by Christmas. You can make an argument, Kay, for so many guys right now at MVP, whether it's Josh Allen, and a lot of arguments for, like, look at Josh Allen and what he had to work with and what he's done in Buffalo. And then Lamar and the season he's had. But what if the Bengals get in and they win 5 in a row to find a way to get in? Then you have to look at Joe Burrow. Saquon Barkley is going to take some votes away from people. He's going to probably be somewhere in the top just because of the season he's had. I know he's not going to get the rushing record. So this is one that not only also a lot of times you'll look at who's going to be the all-pro quarterback first team, and he's probably going to be the MVP. This could be a year where you have, because all-pro, and a lot of voters are asking me, it's a statistical, it's best all-around stats, whereas MVP is the most value to your team. So you can have one guy be MVP, one guy be the first team All-Pro at quarterback or running, whatever position it is, because that's it's not just a quarterback award MVP. It has been for the last 11 years, but it's not just a quarterback award. So this one's going to be really difficult. So I'm excited to see what the voters do.
It's fascinating.
I can't wait to look at those ballots.
It's amazing that that's your job. It's insane. Rob Maaddi, we can, of course, check out all of your stuff. We'll tweet it all out. We appreciate you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Kay. You rock as always. Thank you.
You're amazing. Thank you so much. Let's hit you guys with some DF. Yes, these are my favorite daily plays for fantasy. The regular season, your season long, you got your trophy, you didn't, whatever, you're getting a tattoo of somebody's name on them, you're sitting at a McDonald's for 24 hours straight, whatever you had to do because you lost, you can win here. I am going to keep going, thank you. Let's stack the Lions-Vikings game. Jared Goff and Jameson Williams. Goff 6th at quarterback, Jameson 26th at receiver, even though he scored 4 touchdowns on the last 3, no one's counting. Minnesota has been the most generous defense to wide receivers this season. I like Kyle Pitts. He has chemistry with Penix. He's 13th at tight end, so it's a big time value, even though, yeah, there we go. Do we have Pitts there? Oh, there it is. And Jameson Williams. I guess, did I miss the Jameson Williams part of this? Oh, yeah, there we go. There we have it. So there's your stack. Jared Goff, Jameson Williams, Kyle Pitts up against the Panthers. Again, big value. Recipe for a big game. How much time do we have left in the show? Okay. He's coming out of break with it. Go ahead, Hammer.
All right, hunch time. We're looking at that big Sunday night football game. First up, Sam Darnold. His line for passing yards is 281.5. So what's your hunch, Kay? Over or under?
I just want fireworks. All I care about is that. I know it's great defenses and pass rush and Kirby does all that. Over. The Lions have allowed an average of 362 yards per game over the last 3 weeks. Darnold's coming off this 377-yard situation. He's got confidence. We get fireworks. And Sam's going to have a big game. And maybe not if Calvin Johnson goes and talks to those DBs before the game, but I'm hoping it's over. Yes, we have a minute left, and guess what? We're going to get to both. Go for it, Hammer.
All right, next up, Jahmyr Gibbs. His line for combined rushing and receiving yards is 124.5. So what's your hunch? Does he get there? That's a big number.
I'm going to say over, because he's averaged just under 160 per game since Montgomery got hurt and had 162 touchdowns against this very Vikings defense earlier this season. He's going to go off again. He's feeling himself. It's the whole Sonic thing. He's got it going on.
All right, last one. Let's pull up the full screen.
Okay.
Who's scoring the first touchdown on Sunday night?
Justin Jefferson. I want to see it. I want to see a gritty. He has scored in each of his last 3 games against the Lions. He likes these big stages. He's got to shine brightly like he always does, it seems like, when the lights are on and, you know, the 1 seed is in his grasp potentially. So this is such a wild game to even think about. I think we're going to be a back-and-forth scoring game, high-scoring game. 2 14-win teams is insane. Can't wait to see it. And we'll react to Vikings-Lions with Minnesota legend. Oh, boy. Jared Allen is on the show on Monday. I'm going to get plenty of sleep on Sunday night. Love ya. Have a good week, everybody. Be safe. Bye.